crypto. We can't let anybody else find out who we are. My eyes are up here. I personally would not advise that strategy. Bugs Bunny or Tweety Bird, how to make money in crypto.
Oh, you're killing me.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. Can we get a different background color?
Sure.
I look like I'm blending. I look like a green screen. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the people's channel, home of the BitSquad, largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. No channel works harder to keep you in the know about crypto. My name is Ben, and I come to you live every single day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for today where I'm a little bit late. I just got back from a doctor's appointment. So I am living, and I will not be dying. That's what I was told. It is Thursday, April 14th, and it is 71 degrees here in the BitBoy Crypto studio. I'm leaving. There you go. That's much better. I'm leaving after the show today. I'm going to be going to play the World Series of Poker Circuit main event in Cherokee, North Carolina. So if you're up there at the casino, I'd like to see you. All right, guys. Well, you know, it's funny, isn't it? You know, yesterday we talked about the ETH merge and this getting delayed and how bad it is. And then, you know, you see all these people on Twitter, oh, BitBoy said it's a bear market. You know, price is definitely going up now. Whoa, 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 whoa. Bunch of idiots out there. Guys, the tea leaves are pretty obvious at this point. What's coming down. The only thing that saves us from this point I'm not saying we're making new lows. We could go retest the lows around 29,000 and it could bounce back up. We didn't get max euphoria, so I don't expect max pain in this. But I mean, look, let's think about it like this. Is there really a difference between a U-shape over 3 months and sideways over 3 months? Is there really a difference if you're not selling in the middle? There really isn't. But the fact is the price goes up yesterday and everybody's like, oh, well, I guess ETH merge doesn't matter anymore. I guess, you know, it's super bullish the ETH merge isn't happening. Some people are saying that it may not drop. And I would listen to this argument that it may not drop because the smarter traders had already priced in that it would probably get delayed because of the track record of Ethereum. But, you know, you look at the markets today and Bitcoin is barely holding $40,000. Ethereum is barely holding $3,000. And we're just sitting here just waiting to see what's going to happen. Guys, here's the history of this channel, if you're not familiar. We nailed the bull market for over 2 years. We were nailing what was going to happen. Got to the end of the bull run. We had said bull run would end between September 28th and Thanksgiving. That's exactly what we said. You can go check it out. For years, we said that. Then we got led astray. We had some people in our ear telling us prices that this was going to go to, and it caused us to miss what we had predicted. We've nailed these cycles. That's why this channel is at the top, because we've nailed the cycles. We got a little astray at the very end of the last one, but if you go back and you check the history of this channel, what we've been saying about this market, it's been dead on accurate. And when you look at where things are going right now, we're just following the 4-year cycle still. And this ETH merge was our one chance to break out of that, and we didn't. So go find people that were counter trading me in 2020 and see how that worked for them. Go see the people at the end of 2019 that were counter trading what I was saying. Go see how that worked out for them. Did not work out very well. So don't buy into all the memes out there. I know there's a lot of people, because I officially called this a bear market yesterday, that are making a big deal about that. And the facts are the facts. No more cycles of the past with a $2 trillion market cap. Okay, Philip Wan, show me where. Show me where we've delineated. Where have we delineated? The only difference between this last cycle and the previous cycles is we did not reach heights we thought we would get to. But if you actually go back to 2019 and what I was saying, I expected a $50,000 to $70,000 Bitcoin in 2019. But things changed with the pandemic and it sped up all kinds of predictions. $100,000 was like, in 2019, if you were talking about $100,000 Bitcoin, people thought you were crazy. Last year, when you're talking about $100,000 Bitcoin, everybody thought you were going to be accurate, and it didn't happen. People were talking about a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 Bitcoin last year. We saw what happened there. Didn't even come close to it. So everybody just needs to calm down a little bit, and we need to get back to the drawing board and really studying these cycles and finding out where we should be over the next few months. And I don't think it's great. The only thing, the ETH merge was going to be the big catalyst, right? The only thing that can change this, there are two catalysts that could occur in the next 2 to 3 months that could kind of change the direction. Number one would be if the XRP case ends, which I got huge news on our big event that we're planning, TJ. I haven't even shared it with you yet. If the XRP case ends, that could become a catalyst. Also, if we get a spot ETF this month or next month, that could change things in the temporary. So right now we got 3,000 viewers. We got 500 likes. Let's go ahead and make sure to smash those like buttons to get more people into the chat here. Make sure to go ahead, hit the like button. If you're watching on mobile, exit out of the live chat, hit the like button, and then come back in. If you're watching on smart TV, can you slide over here? Bottom left-hand corner screen, more actions, more options. Can you come a little closer? Come a little closer, Allison. Thank you. See Allison's hand? There it was. There it is. There's Allison's hand. Thank you, Allison. Thank you. The magical hand. Allison is amazing. Yeah, so I lost my train of thought. We're talking about the ETF.
The only two things that could save us would be the spot.
Yeah,
ETF.
it would be the spot ETF and the XRP case ending.
And I would put more on the spot ETF. But like we mentioned yesterday, too, that was also the hope they gave us for all of 2018, 2019,
exactly.
2020. And so
it's always been the hope. Yeah. We got a guy in here who says I'm a charlatan. That's actually not true. I'm from Atlanta, and we crushed Charlotte last night.
We sure did.
So you were there. Tell me about the Hawk game last night. That was a softball game. But
that was a great
3-0, by the way, BitBoy Bombers.
And it was pretty wild because we had Nelly sitting right in front of us, big Charlotte fan, all decked out in his Charlotte gear.
Charlotte fan. From St. Louis, though. Interesting.
It was interesting. I don't know if he lives there now, came up from there. I'm not sure what the connection there was. Maybe it was just a big ball fan. I'm not sure. But yeah, he was, and the guy sitting right next to me was just giving it to him the whole game. Wow. Literally the entire, like at one, and Nelly was a pretty good sport about it, but at one point he did have to turn around and say, like, you know, I can get you kicked out of here, right? Like, you know, they're asking me if you're bothering me. They ain't asking you if I'm bothering you. And at some point he had to back off. Like, he was getting really irritated towards the end of the game. And the most interesting part, him and Quavo were kind of, you know,
they got into it, right?
They were going back and forth in a friendly way most of the game, you know, just making jokes, whatever, making play. You know, I heard him was like, hey, what are you doing after this? You want to go over here? You want to do that? They were talking about hanging out after the game. And then something Nelly said, right? There's probably 2 minutes left in the game, and it really pissed Quavo off. And he, like, got up yelling, like, don't do me like that. Like, I ain't like that. I'm different, blah, blah, blah. I don't do people like that.
2 Chainz is also different.
Yeah, he was.
You got that, Frank? Frank got the joke.
Yeah. Sorry. It was interesting. I don't know what it was.
Nelly is a minority owner with the Hornets.
Oh, there you go. No wonder he's such a big Hornets
fan. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, no wonder he was taking it a little personally.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we put the smackdown on him.
Yeah, it was not. Look, if the Hawks win, let me say it like this. If the Hawks win tomorrow night, if they beat the Cavaliers on the road, which we should, we're much better than the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance that the Eastern Conference Finals could end up being the 7 seed versus the 8 seed, the Nets versus the Hawks. I think that's actually possible. I think the Hawks, but the Bucks are definitely in there. Like, look, the Bucks can take either one of these two teams out, definitely. But there's a possibility we could end up with a 7 versus 8 seed because we're the hottest team in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
We have been for a while. So,
well, that's important in the NBA. It's all about getting hot at the right time. So
yeah.
if we can get hot going into the playoffs, hopefully we'll have some fun. Because playoffs, man, it's just different.
It's different. It's totally
so
different.
Much more.
That's why, like, it's not even fun going to regular season games other than just the other players.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, speaking of fun, the BitBoy Bombers softball team last night, let me tell you, we were losing 9-8 going into the last inning. I'm on deck, and I'm sitting there knowing there's no possible way I'll bat. We got 2 outs, bases loaded, we tie the game. So this is the last hitter, no matter what. It's Jay Chainz. Jay Chainz comes up. He forget bloops it to right field, and we get the win. So good job to Jay Chainz for hooking up with the. You got to give Jay Chainz his credit on that one.
Yeah,
I will say we were winning 8-4 going in the last inning and let him come back, but whatever.
We did get a super chat there for Allison from Jimmy Void Bitcoin, so thanks for that.
Hawks are trash. They won't make it out of the first round against the Heat. The Heat are the worst #1 seed in the history of basketball. So there you go. I said it. I'm not scared of them at all. I'd much rather play the Heat than any other team in the top 6. So, okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get started here. 1.45 million subscribers on the BitBoy Crypto YouTube channel. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Frank. He officially broke 10,000 subscribers. We got almost 4K on BitBoy Bits, 113K on Hit Network.
Meta money.
Almost 50K and almost 17K for NFT Alpha. So good for them. Coming in 830.4 thousand followers. We added almost 1,000 followers yesterday. I guess people liked my tweets yesterday. Had a lot of good tweets, to be honest with you. I like this one. I saw all of this Bitcoin and crypto adoption coming 5 years ago. That's why I'm at where I am in life. What's coming in the next 5 years? Figure that out, and you can make life-changing money. I think really that's something I've been thinking about a lot is as we've moved to a whole new cycle for Bitcoin, we begin to think about what is outlandish today that in 4 to 5 years is going to be normal. Because what was outlandish 4 to 5 years ago is now normal for Bitcoin. So I think that's something we should really start thinking about, maybe trying to picture what that looks like. I have some ideas. In my opinion, I think that, the big wave in 5 years is we're all going to be using CBDCs. And I think we're going to cover a story today that pretty much seems to kind of back that up, I believe.
Another thing probably related to a story we might cover today would be social media platforms that are designed to incentivize users rather than advertisers.
Yep. LOL, people hate on Miami teams because they wish they lived there. No, has nothing to do with it. They're just not a great basketball team. You like Tyler Hero. They've got some good players. They're similar to the Hawks, but I would take Trae Young over anybody outside of Kevin Durant or Giannis in the East. So, all right, Dad Jokes for the win. 6,400 followers there. Don't forget, let's change that name soon. BitBoy Crypto, 452,000. Let's see if we ticked up here. Let me refresh that. 453,000 followers here on our Instagram. This is from my Bloomberg interview. You want to check out part of my Bloomberg interview from the other day? You guys can go check that out on that page. And don't forget, we do have a Facebook page. It doesn't say we've got like 130,000 people on our Facebook page. If you want, make sure to go click here. Follow us on Facebook if you're there. And also, a lot of scams in the comments on Facebook. So please make sure to be very careful and be safe. Hit merch and check out some of the cool shirts we got. Markets. Here we go. We are coming in now at 1.866 trillion. If you remember yesterday, we went back up to 1.9 trillion. Now we're back down below. And this is the number that should really be concerning people is the lack of volume. We're not seeing an excitement with these drops. Bitcoin has dropped to $40,000 and the volume is at $80 billion. We were seeing the volume around $120 billion for about 2 weeks, almost every day. And now you're looking at it falling basically, what is that, 30%, 35%, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. And so, it's one of those things where the volume is not, people are not excited about buying Bitcoin at this price, and that should really concern people. I think once we plunge below that $39,000 level, all bets are off for where this thing is going. Bitcoin dominance down, ETH dominance down a hair as well. It was up to 19.6%. Why is it down? Well, we're seeing a reaction to this ETH merge delay for sure. 33 Paraguays, you can send an ETH transaction. Let's see here. Looking at those headlines up there. I'm trying to keep an eye on the, barely holding 40,000. We're at $40,064 right now. I'm trying to pay attention to the date for Bitcoin 2023. They haven't announced it yet. They usually announce it right at the end of the, at the end of the turn, the end of the
I'm sure they'll announce. I'd imagine they'd announce it very soon. Like you said, normally it's within a week of the event. They have new tickets on sale. Yeah. So,
T-Cash says the Hawks barley made the playoffs. There's no wheat. There is no wheat in Atlanta. I'm sorry. We're having a wheat shortage if you didn't know. It's not funny to make barley jokes.
That's what you just did.
That's why I'm not laughing.
Got it.
Thank you. Bitcoin holding on. We'll have Frank come on in just a second and tell you guys what's going on with that. Biggest gainers. Hey, Kyber Network continuing to pump 43%. I don't think this pump is done yet. Because like I said, this has followed Zilliqa pretty good. Zilliqa, is having a reprieve right now. I just remember back in early 2020, or maybe it was late 2019 when Kyber, Zilliqa, and Theta all took turns pumping back and forth. you know, it's funny if you look at 2019 and you look at where we're potentially at in the bear market, you know, pretty close to that time frame. So Audius up 7.6%. Zilliqa bouncing back a little bit, still down for the week, 6%, up 7% today. Moonbeam, Compound Thorchain, those are the biggest losers of the day. That's more interesting right now. Nothing really over. I mean, only Terra, Mina, and Anchor Protocol over 6% down. So everything else below 5%. Look at this. Shiba, I tell you guys, Shiba, the heyday is over. The heyday for Shiba is over. Excuse me. Someone tried to kill me on that one.
A little
Take a
shib.
sip of water.
Got a little shib in your throat.
Would you like a little shib in you? Yeah. The thing is you get this gigantic Robinhood announcement. For the week, it's up 3.82%. And Shiba has not always followed closely the track of Bitcoin. So I think this is a really damning statement on Shiba in the future of Shiba. I would say if you're still in this, I would be ready to run. So Pun Any Vamper on the basement says he still thinks we may see a short-term pump to 46 to 48K. I don't see that. I don't see that. And the reason is we've been rejected at that. Where have we been rejected? Is it 46 where we keep getting rejected? Let me look. What, or is it 45? Where did we get to it during the conference? Like 48, actually?
I thought I got up to 47 something. I don't remember 48, but it could have.
Let me check. Let me go to the Bitcoin chart and check. Let's see. Back in the end of March, we got all the way up to 48. I mean, and then we've been rejected at 46, or is that 47? 47 several times. I just don't see it, to be honest with you. I think we're very close to plunging below the support line here. And once we do that, we do have the golden pocket there we could pop up out of at 39K. We know 39. Is that a golden pocket? Is that why the colors? Yeah, yeah. So we have a Fibonacci golden pocket there, also known as a hot pocket, right at 39K. I mean, we will probably test this 39K a few times before we plunge below it. But once we plunge below it, like I said, all bets are off. Why'd you come talk about the charts, Frank? Yeah, we haven't even hit 42 in weeks. Yeah, exactly.
What's going on, everybody? Wait, so Ben, you said heyday for SHIB is over. So is SHIB not going to $1?
SHIB not going over $1?
I thought SHIB was going to $1.
SHIB was supposed to go to $1.
That's what everybody wants. SHIB to $1. Seems. If you guys don't know about market cap, that is really what it's all about. A lot of people think SHIB can go to $1. Probably impossible unless they burn like 99% of their tokens. So just keep that in mind. But guys, we got a lot of good stuff to look at on the chart. Some bearish stuff, mostly bearish stuff. But we're going to take a look at a couple of things. The DXY starting to make moves. You know, the DXY actually broke out of resistance and started moving up pretty quickly. So we're going to take a look at that. But we're going to start over here on Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. And let me just readjust here just a little bit. Now, little bad news on the weekly, guys. Blood Diamond is now back. It was gone for almost the entire day. This Blood Diamond right here was gone for almost the entire day yesterday. Started to feel a little good. It was still on the regular candles. If you switch over to, these are Heikinashi candles. If you switch over to the regular candles, it was still there, but it disappeared on the Heikinashi candles. Was hoping for it to come off of the regular candles, but now it's back on the Heikinashis and the regular candles. So definitely not a good look. You know, we've never seen this in the history of Bitcoin. Even if you pull up the BLX chart, which is, you know, shows Bitcoin from inception to current day, you know, it's never happened before. So this is a very, very bearish sign. But even without this Blood Diamond, I talk about this a lot, but I just want to say it one more time. If you look back at the 2018 bear market right here, right, look at the money flow. I mean, we are just about in the same spot as, you know, right here, right? And, you know, when you get that money flow crossover, typically we see a giant drop. And right now, for the current time, we have the VWAP coming down at the same time as the money flow. This could be, you know, this could be the time when we see this crossover into the red on the weekly. This could be when we get a pretty big drop. You know, this one down here was about a 50% drop. You know, like Ben said, we didn't see max euphoria, so maybe we don't see max pain. So maybe it's not 50%, but it's definitely possible to get a drastic drop once that money flow crosses over into the red. keep an eye on that, because these are typically, when the weekly money flow is in the red, this is usually your best time to buy, or when you're coming up to this 200 period moving average as well. When you're below that or even touching it, typically a very good time to buy. As you can see, last time we were in the red on the weekly was literally the bottom of the bear market. So keep an eye on that. If you do get deep into the red here on the weekly, it could be a great time to scoop up some cheap Bitcoin. So weekly, obviously not looking great. Hasn't looked good for a while. Coming on down to, the 5-day, getting this trigger wave with the red dot confirmed. Is that confirmed? Not confirmed quite yet. We do have one more day to confirm that, but, little trigger wave with that red dot, if that confirms, also, could make us come down a lot here. Back into the red on the money flow as well on the 5-day, not looking too good. However, on the 2-day, you do have the VWAP coming up. And this money flow was, starting to curve up, but it looks like it's coming down now. But you do have the VWAP coming up. If you're really reaching for some bullish hopium, that hopefully maybe you can see that money flow come back up into the green. And then the daily. Now, I know this doesn't look horrible, right? We dipped into the red, and you can see that red money flow wave is starting to turn right back around and come up towards that zero line. I don't really have high hopes for this, to be 100% honest.
You're bearish. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You're very bearish. Right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, when the weekly is looking like this, and again, I want to reiterate, it does, just because it happened in the past doesn't mean it's 100% going to happen. But, when you are looking like this, I mean, we are essentially right here if we're comparing it to 2018, right? And this is right before we moved sideways a little bit, got kind of boring, and then dumped 50%.
Yep.
So, I mean, we are literally seeing almost the same exact thing here. The only difference is this time we have a blood diamond on market Cipher A, which maybe it's worse. That we didn't even have a blood diamond here and we dropped 50%. So, yeah, I mean, the weekly looks bearish. I'm feeling bearish. I don't feel, that there's a good chance that we come up. I think there's a way better chance that we come down before we start going up. Now, if we do see that happen, let's talk about, levels I'm watching.
Let me ask you this. Are you in a
Yes.
trade right now at all?
I am in an ETH short right now.
In a short.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's short.
ETH short, yeah. Currently in profit. Actually starting to come down a little bit more right now. We could take a look at that in a second. But levels I'm watching, let's come down to a lower time frame here. Let's come to the 2-hour just to zoom in a little bit. Now, if we do wind up coming down, 2-hour, we were looking at this yesterday, the 1, the 2, and the 3-hour were coming close to crossing over into the green. I was saying I wasn't really feeling that great about it because of the way the higher time frames were looking. And look at that, we came into the green and we are coming right back down. This is kind of what I thought. I was talking about it on my stream last night. We might just get a little hump over here in the green and then back into the red. Now, if we do start to come down, maybe we see a bounce on this support line right here, which was the bottom of our ascending triangle when it looked like we were in an ascending triangle. But really what I'm looking for, I think we can come down to, into this golden pocket, maybe to the bottom of the golden pocket. The top of this is at about, 39K, and then the bottom is at about 38.5. I do think we could be headed there. And then if you come on over to the 4-hour, we do have on the regular candles, we are starting to see blood diamonds pop up on the regular candles. This might start to bleed into the Heikinashis, but this blood diamond could easily bring us down here. I think that's totally possible. We'll have to reassess the situation when we get there, see what everything's looking like. But I think there's a good chance we can come down into this golden pocket in the near future. Also, 12-hour money flow starting to come pretty low. Let me get rid of this line. 12-hour money flow coming towards that zero line. If we get that crossover, this could be really, really, really powerful and bring us down even more. So just a lot of bearish stuff popping up on the charts here. And even the bullish hope that we were seeing yesterday on the 1-hour, we were coming up, thought it might have been decent, but because of the way the higher time frames were looking, was saying that it could be lackluster, and it played out exactly like that. We're back in the red now. Same thing on the 2-hour we just looked at. And, the 3-hour didn't even get the cross. We just got rejected at the zero line. So not really looking too hot right now. And then real quick, the DXY just making moves. We were talking about this yesterday on the stream. How high can we see this thing go? And, this thing doesn't really go parabolic, like Bitcoin does.
It just did.
Yeah, but it's up about 1% in the past couple hours or few hours. And
how is this happening with inflation going insane?
Yeah,
it's just a weakening of the world currencies. I mean, that's got to be good. Just so everybody understands what the DXY is. DXY is not like the value of a dollar. The DXY is the value of the dollar versus other currencies in the world. So when it's going up, that means other currencies around the world, at least on
Other way. There you go.
that's way.
I know. I was trying to adjust it before, but then you moved.
I'm in a firm squat.
I wish
right
we
now.
could get a full body shot of Ben right
Get a
now.
full body
not the
shot.
first time
He's in the ready position.
Because the thing is that Danica Patrick's still supporting her back there. But that's what it is. The value of the dollar against the world currencies in general, like a basket of the world currencies. So that's what it is. So right now, the dollar's getting stronger. So somewhere other world currencies are getting weaker, and I don't know how much those two countries involved in that conflict are affecting that.
Think about basically the dollar is the U.S. reserve asset, right?
Yeah.
We print tons of dollars. Every other currency is pegged to the dollar. So when the dollar experiences 5%, 7%, 8% inflation, everything else that's pegged to that is going to experience greater inflation. So what they did, print trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, get it all out there in the system, then start bumping up the interest rates that it takes to hold it, and then the dollar gets stronger, everything else gets weaker. And essentially, though, what's happening when they do that is they're extracting the wealth out of the rest of the world, and that's where some of that pain comes in and why they kind of fight back. So that's what causes us to see that kind of DXY go up all at once, because we're seeing the result of the rate hikes. So the inflation, the money printing, you take a long time to feel the inflation. The rate hike, you're going to feel almost immediately.
Yeah. And so, with this, we were talking about this yesterday. Can we make it to this trend line? As you can see, we made a high here and then made another high here. There's a trend line on top of both of those. And, this is where I would expect, if we can make it up there, I don't really think we can get all the way up there. But if we do, this is where I would seriously start thinking, DXY is probably going to get rejected pretty hard.
And that's the daily chart?
Again. This is the weekly.
So, theoretically, you could see it possibly, if it does reach up there, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, somewhere around there.
I would say that. Yeah, maybe 1, 2, 3.
I could see that happen. I could see us, because if you really look back at the history of that over the last several years, what you'll see is once it gets as close as it is now to hitting that line, it's going to move up and hit that line. And it doesn't have big pullbacks until it hits that line. And so I think we are going to see it. If you look at, this compared to the last time it hit that resistance point, this is a much more parabolic, much more consolidated move, which, makes me believe it's probably going to have a harder drop once it does happen.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So, with that big move on the DXY, that's obviously bearish for Bitcoin as they move inversely of each other. And then real quick before I hop off, just taking a look at the SPY
I do want you to
here.
hop, by the way.
Okay,
I literally want you to hop.
We are coming up to
Easter.
Easter bunny.
That's right. But yeah, so with the SPY here, let me just move the chart a little bit. We did find a little bit of support on this bottom line right here. We popped back into this little channel here. So if we could move up with the SPY, it could be good for Bitcoin. But watching this support level right here very, very closely.
All right.
Oh.
Thank you, Frank.
Bing bong.
Hold on. I didn't even get it.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't get it.
I
You
got
did
like
hop. I can confirm.
One hop. That was good.
One hop, one time. Okay. Look, I see several people, somebody saying, mentioning it over and over again about Data Dash, still very bullish. Look, we love Data Dash. We respect Data Dash. We got a course in our BitLab Academy. I think
if Data Dash is bullish, that might be the only hopium there is.
it might be. There still is a scenario that exists, and I saw Punani Vamper on the basement over there talking about several times how, I went on this big tirade about when the world is ending and everybody thinks it's super bearish, like that's when it tends to reverse. And I would agree with that. The only thing that makes this different is I've been telling you for months now that the hopium was the ETH merge. That was the hopium. That was what we were looking at as the possibility to reverse everything. Now, we do still have 2 other things that we mentioned that could happen to change the course. But without that ETH merge and without that excitement of Ethereum, and as we get closer to the end of Ethereum mining, and you're going to have these Ethereum miners, possibly dumping. They may be dumping into nodes instead of just dumping for cash. But, I think that is such a death knell in this bull run. I can't really overstate it. But that doesn't mean that we're going to $8,000. That doesn't mean that this is going to be lasting for a considerable amount of time. If you go to the Bitcoin chart, okay, if you go to the Bitcoin chart, let's go to the daily chart here. Go to the daily chart and let's go back to 2018. And when we look at about where we should be now, so we're going to do a big video where we are going to actually get a lot more into where we kind of should be in this bear market. You know, that'll give us a lot more to draw off of. But when you look at this time period, it was not a super long time. Let's see how long it was. Let's get our handy dandy measuring tool here.
It feels like it when you're in it, but when you're out of it, you realize like, oh, it was only like 6 or 8 months.
No, it wasn't even that long.
4 months?
I mean, the entire U shape would have been, okay, that was a long time, actually. 6 months. Yeah, you're right. It didn't feel like it was that long. But basically, it plunged down to, let's see where it was at this point. Hold on, let me zoom in a little more on this. Actually get a better tell here. God, 6 months. That sounds horrible. But where would 6 months put us at? October. Where is ETH merge happening at? Hopefully in the fall. When do we anticipate the XRP case being over? September, October. So you can see how a lot of the macro events are shaping up here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more like 6 months. The true bottom, I feel like, is going to be a period next year, you know, because that 6 months was in 2019, correct?
Well, yeah, but you got to keep in mind, I mean, we're already, no, that's not true. Because if the peak was in November, the peak of 2017 versus the bear market 2018 was exactly 1 year. So that should put us in the fall. It should put it, I mean, November would be. Because
that period we're talking about, that 6 month, that was like the middle of 2019. Is that right?
No. It's November is when it started, I believe.
Let's look at what this
was. Yeah, November 15th. So like 14th, 15th, 2018 is where the big drop began. And then like it took May-ish. It took let's see, 30 days to bottom. So it took 30 days of falling to bottom. And then it started to reverse. It went back up to about over 4,000. And then we sat around in the 3,000s for 3 months. And then it slowly ticked up over 4,000. We didn't get back over 4,000 until March. But then basically, this is probably where I would call the end of this. When Bitcoin was back above 5,000, 140 days. So what is that, about, 4.5 months, somewhere around there. And then it really built momentum. And the cool thing is, once it started moving up, I mean, look at the, parabolic movements up. The thing you have to understand about these Bitcoin cycles, and this is very, very, very important, okay, is that it doesn't feel like at the beginning of the next bull run that it's a bull run. Why? Because if we were to drop back down to 28,000, let's say we drop to $24,000. Like, let's give kind of somewhat worst case scenarios. Let's say we go down to $20,000 to $24,000. Okay. Well, think about the power of purchasing Bitcoin at $20,000 to $24,000 compared to buying Bitcoin at $70,000 and holding it down to $20,000 to $24,000. Because if you did that, then it's not going to feel bullish again until we get back to new all-time highs, which will probably not be until towards the end of 2024. Okay. Scary numbers for people. This is reality. But if you continue to accumulate and keep money on the sidelines like we always tell you to do, and you're accumulating at 20 to 24,000, the move from 20 to 24,000 back up to 40,000, that's a gigantic gain. Yeah. And it will happen very quickly when it starts to move. Here is the traditional Bitcoin 4-year cycle, just to lay it out for you. We will start at the Bitcoin halving. At the Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin slowly goes up for a year and a half. Then it goes up parabolically for a year and a half and reaches new all-time highs. Then it falls dramatically for 1 year, and then we start the whole process. No, that's actually not correct. Let me start over. Bitcoin halving is when it goes up parabolically for next year and a half. Bitcoin halving occurs. Bitcoin goes up parabolically for a year and a half, falls for 1 year, and then slowly grinds up for a year and a half. Then we hit the other halving. So Parabolic, gigantic fall, slow tick. Parabolic, gigantic fall, slow tick. That is how it goes. It's generally because for 75% of Bitcoin's life, it's going up. But it doesn't feel like it, because if you bought Bitcoin at $70,000 and we bought them at 24,000 and then it slowly ticks up, that doesn't feel very bullish. But if you're accumulating down at those points, that's why the people who accumulate in the bear market always win. That's how you retire. That's how you get to the next level. So let's go ahead and move on here to top stories here. Looking at crypto outflows.
It was interesting to me how much kind of bullish sentiment there was on Twitter yesterday with just that little short-term pump. Like, I was kind of surprised.
It was sad.
Yeah. There was, I mean, and it reminds me so much of 2018, 2019, of people trying to find the bullish case when it's just not there.
How would someone say if you say the 4-year cycle is over, you are an imbecile. There is nothing to this point in the history of Bitcoin to where we are today to indicate the 4-year cycle is over. There's nothing to indicate that at all.
Right.
We are exactly where we should be on the 4-year cycle. Exactly. So if you think that, then you need to get your fingers off of your typing board, off your keyboard in this chat, and you need to go study Bitcoin, because you know nothing, sir. You know nothing, sir. Fear and Greed Index at 28 has been much lower than that. Of course, we dipped into the single digits, I believe, earlier this year. Outflows rock Bitcoin, Ethereum, and wake of price decline. Guys, outflows equals bearish, extremely bearish. Bitcoin, Ethereum, let's see, had a bad day. For the past day, exchange outflows have surpassed that of inflows by more than $200 million. It's come out to 1.1 billion in Bitcoin being moved out of centralized exchanges, while inflows remain intact at 886.4 million. The same trend was the case for the second largest crypto by market cap, Ethereum. Outflows had also come out ahead of inflows by more than 70 million. So here's a little bit about that. And this,
that's funny. I don't know.
What's that? I will be secretly accumulating XRP until 2024. What's up, George? Good to see you, bud. That's funny. You guys can see on this tweet here, like, this is the only number here that is relatively bullish, because when Tether is moving in, that means some people are preparing to buy. So, you know, that's at least a good thing. Some people are looking for new positions. I don't think it's a bad idea to slowly accumulate, but I just think we're going to see more downside. Crypto market turnaround coming. Analytics firms says spike in this metric triggers trend reversal. Guys, how many times have we looked at these on-chain metrics over the last year and a half and they've been dead wrong? Like, they're not indicating where Bitcoin is going like they have before. We looked at the end of bull run indicators. Only one of them showed we were topping out, and that was the Pi cycle top. And then we had another all-time high after that. We had no indicators that showed us that we should have been at the end of the bull run, and yet we were. A leading crypto analytics firm says a correlation exists between crypto prices and inflation level. And I'll tell you, as it talks about a crypto analytics firm, I think it's very important that we're very wary of companies putting out positive news about Bitcoin right now and Bitcoin price, because a lot of people, in my opinion, are going to start selling off very soon. A lot of people trying to move the price down, a lot of people panic selling. And so because of that, you got to be careful what information you're bringing in, because they may be sending you. I tend to believe that, you know, I don't know, maybe some of the information I was given at the end of the year that turned out not to be true, even though all throughout the year it was true, maybe that was geared to have people's spirits still high so the big people could cash out. And, you know, that's definitely a possibility. Some people suggested that even at the time. I don't know if that's true or not. It's hard to look back on hindsight and say it is true. But there are people out there trying to use other people and make, you know, the retail lose all the time. Following the announcement about the inflation rate, CPI rose by 8.5%. Crypto enjoyed a boost. When inflation and CPI data releases are major subjects of interest for the crypto community, price turnarounds generally occur. We've seen a decent crypto bounce today, with consumer price data revealing a higher than expected 8.5% rise in March. The analytics firm said that the price of Bitcoin tends to reverse with the frequency of the appearance of keywords inflation and CPI on social media platforms. Crazy. This is ridiculous. We can see the market turns around just when these topics spike. So every time pretty much. No, that's not true. I mean, you look at the spike here and then you got a big dip right after that. You saw this gigantic spike and then the market turned and now you're seeing another small spike. I mean, this is not a strong indicator in my opinion. So, let's see here. Sandemit says crypto bottom occurred in mid-March after the FOMC noted that inflation remained elevated. Yeah, but that was a meeting that we had been waiting on, and that was confirmation of what people already knew, but it was confirmation. So there was nothing surprising that came out of that. So, and then we have Fed report secret repo loans to mega banks in 2020 eclipsed 2008 bailouts. Delta dump shows 48 trillion in stealth funding.
So,
what's that?
No, that's where all the inflation went. That's what blows my mind when you hear about all this money printed and you just $48 trillion. That's insane.
Yeah,
all going to banks. Like that's nuts.
Absolutely. Someone says I must have throat cancer because I sound terrible. Huh. Is my voice that bad today? That's fine, I think. I'm going to try to survive my throat cancer, guys. This is what you get when you're a social media influencer, by the way. You get people telling you have cancer. You have people telling you to kill yourself. You have people telling you your children are ugly. Like, that's what you get. So, that's okay. I'm Teflon. I can take it. A lot of people can't while we're at the top. Following the controversial bank bailouts and troubled asset relief program in 2008, reports show in late 2019 and 2020, the U.S. Federal Reserve participated in providing trillions of dollars in secret repo loans to mega banks. While Wall Street eagerly awaits the Federal Reserve's next benchmark rate hike decision, a number of investigative reports show the U.S. Central Bank participated in massive bank bailouts that are of biblical proportions. First report stems from Wall Street on Parade's Pam and Russ Martins, which accused the Fed of secretly loaning the French mega bank BNP Paribas $3.84 trillion in the first quarter of 2020. The Martins findings highlight many more secret loans that come from a data dump derived from the New York Federal Reserve branch. The data dump showcases secret repo loans from the Fed to mega banks from September 2019 to July 2020.
First quarter, by the way, 2020. Yeah. So before anything actually started happening, they were getting trillions of dollars to these banks, which everybody that was watching the financial markets at the time knew they were having a major liquidity crisis. If we don't get lots of money to these banks really fast, we're going to have major problems. And then all of a sudden,
and look at this.
Here we go. Look at that. That's insane.
What a scam.
It is a scam.
I trust this Federal Reserve. I trust it. I trust it, guys.
Yeah.
Mainstream media has heretofore instituted a news blackout on the names of the banks that received the repo loan bailouts. Wow. You wonder who runs the mainstream media, folks? You guys may be interested to know this. Did you guys know that their big pharma, Pfizer and all of these companies, you guys do know that they have a board seat on every single mainstream media company that there is.
Of course.
Think about it. The banks do too, I'm sure, but I don't have that exactly to say it is true.
When you pay the bills, you get to say who sits on the board.
Absolutely. And you get to say who you can and cannot say on TV. Yep. There are two names. There are two names that I know for sure the mainstream media is not allowed to say. And when you say these names on YouTube, you get your channel taken down. That's a true fact. We've seen it. There are other YouTubers that I know in crypto that have verified that this is true, that they just mentioned one of these two names on their show and they immediately got taken down. You don't think this media blackout stuff exists? It does. That's why you don't need to be getting your news from the mainstream media.
It just said I can't believe they come right out and say it. Mainstream media news has blacked out the banks.
Well, that's the expose. There was an expose that released all this and they discovered the blackout.
Wow.
U.S. Federal Reserve officially considering CBDC to improve existing payment systems. We'll come back to that here in a little bit. I want to talk about this Elon Musk stuff. Elon Musk offers to buy Twitter for $43 billion so it can be transformed as private company. Now, a lot of people are people are saying the names. I cannot say Mr. Bean. That is not true. I say Mr. Bean all the time. Prove your point. Somebody says prove my point. They want me to say one of the names so I can get my channel banned.
A couple of them are in the chat. I've seen one of them. Somebody said it. One of them.
That's not one of them, but that is
Close.
Adjacent. You have a great chance.
Yeah.
But there are two names. Nobody that I've seen up there has said the actual two names. So, yeah, I don't think so. I'm sure somebody will know one of them. It's pretty obvious to know what one of them is. The other one is a little trickier because it's basically the American version of the original. Yeah. So, Elon Musk offers to buy Twitter. Now they're calling this a hostile takeover. What is the exact definition of a hostile takeover, I wonder?
Yeah, let's look that up.
Yeah.
I guess one that isn't welcomed, because basically the issue is he's made such a good offer, the board can't really reject it, even if they don't want to sell it to him, because then they're not living up to their fiduciary commitment.
Yeah, one of them said the name. I've seen one of the names up there. The other one's real tricky. You wouldn't think it. It's actually it is not one that you would think of, but also at the same time, it's when you're like, oh yeah, they do never talk about this family anywhere. So. All right, a hostile takeover occurs when an acquiring company attempts to take over a target company against the wishes. My wife's in the background. Hey, hon. Against the wishes of the target company's management. An acquiring company can achieve a hostile takeover by going directly to the target company's shareholders or fighting to replace its management. So that's one that we're seeing. I said Jimmy Seville. I'm gonna watch that soon. I haven't seen that show yet, but I'm gonna watch it. It's on Netflix. A great show on Netflix, by the way. A great documentary on Netflix. It's called Long Shot. You may think you've heard of this story about the guy that gets off of murder because his alibi at a Dodgers game is proven, but it's really interesting to watch, and it is very, very. You will have tears in your eyes as you just can't believe the shocking turn of events that leads to him getting off. So it's pretty good. But so this is what Elon Musk is trying to do. He's trying to take over Twitter, a hostile takeover. The management doesn't want it. I heard on Monday, all of the Twitter, nobody in the chat has said the other name, by the way.
Well, yeah, maybe one.
You think they've said one name, but the second one?
They both start with the same letter, right?
They do. Oh, yeah, so somebody did say the other one.
Somebody said it.
Okay.
Yeah. Not very many.
Elon Musk offered to buy Twitter for $54.20 a share, about $43 billion. What is it at right now? That's what I'm curious at.
What the price is?
Yeah, what the price is.
Apparently, I don't know what the price is, but from the comments, that's a premium he's offering. So they can't really say no. Yeah.
Oh, that's old.
Looks like 45. No.
Yeah, 45. Wow. So basically, the people are wanting to see this sold to the highest bidder. Obviously, I invested in Twitter as I believe in its potential to be a platform for free speech around the globe, and I believe free speech is a social imperative for a functioning democracy. So the conversation that's going on today is that since Elon Musk has now offered to actually buy Twitter, which I said, look, I'm not saying Elon Musk is smarter than me. In some ways, I'm sure he is. But I told you guys last week, if I took over Twitter, it'd be profitable in an hour. In an hour, we would make it profitable. You can see how much it's fallen since its peak. I'm sure Elon Musk will be able to make this thing profitable in the same amount of time. He will very quickly make this a profitable company because it's common sense how to make money with Twitter.
Yeah.
You've got all these super woke people that are like really worried about free speech and censorship. They're more focused on censorship than they are on money. And that's their problem. And so you want to talk about people that would be scared to death? Look at your snowflakes and then look at Elon Musk say this. I invested in Twitter as I believe in its potential to be the platform for free speech around the world. That is exactly what they don't want. You go to my Twitter, you'll see this post that this guy made, Max Boot. He's a liberal writer. He says, I'm frightened by the impact on society. I can see him melting as he's saying it. I'm frightened by the impact on society and politics if Elon Musk acquires Twitter. He seems to believe that on social media, anything goes. For democracy to survive, we need more content moderation, not less.
Wow.
What a commie. This guy is a communist. I'm pretty sure if you go look at his stuff. Like, what in the world? We want more moderation. We want more censorship. Guys, wake up. Why do you think we're at where we're at today? We are at the behest of the technocracy out there. So here's the conversation that's going on today. Elon Musk is wanting to buy Twitter, okay? What is this doing? this is now making it, who doesn't want to buy Twitter now?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Justin Sun said he wanted to buy it. That's a joke. But
SBF broke down if he was to run it, how he would make it profitable. And it, took him about 4 tweets to put that together.
Well, that was to become decentralized.
Well, it was both. It was like, here's what a profitable decentralized Twitter would look like. And kind of what you were saying, it's not that hard. Put a minimum, like a 1 cent per tweet kind of cost. And that's half of it right there. Eliminates the spam, eliminates the bots. And then he basically broke it down. You can go multiple paths with it. But it's very easy to have both decentralized and profitable at the same time and a better product. It was pretty smart the way he broke it down.
Yeah. Well, I think that really what we need to be looking at is, you don't think Google will want to buy Twitter? You don't think Facebook wants to buy Twitter? You don't think that what Apple wants to buy Twitter? They all want to buy Twitter. Somebody I can't remember where the tweet is, so I can't pull it up. I can't give the person credit. I would like to give this person credit. But they said every major tech company right now is on the phone with their antitrust lawyers trying to figure out if they can buy Twitter.
Right.
Why would they not? Twitter is the voice of the people. And that's what the people who've been running Twitter don't want it to be. They want it to be a mouthpiece for a certain, ideology. And if you fall outside of that ideology, we're going to ban you. I mean, what they did to the swimmer, who was literally in the race with the very controversial college swimmer recently, if you guys know what I'm talking about, she just said, it's not fair. I've been training my whole life for this. And this person comes in 1 year and becomes the greatest. And Twitter removed her. Like, you can't even talk about your personal experience that is your reality on Twitter anymore if it doesn't align with a certain ideology. And it's despicable. And I think Elon Musk wants to change that. But the question is, here's the real question. Is Elon Musk really wanting to buy Twitter? Or is he positioning Twitter to be sold to a highest bidder so he makes the maximum amount of return on the amount of money he's already invested?
Yep.
That's the real question. So we're going to have to see what happens here. I think this is super fascinating, what's going on. One thing or the other, we are seeing a gigantic change in media in the United States right now. Because Twitter is media. Twitter is probably the place the most people get their news from.
That's where I get a lot of news from.
Smart people, anyways. I mean, you certainly have a demographic, your boomer demographic, that's still watching, Fox News or CNN or MSNBC. And then, of course, you have younger people that get their news from a lot of sources, but TikTok and Twitter are right there at the tops right now, I believe. This is when you want to know what's happening in real time. And this is why Twitter has become so popular for that. If you want to know what's happening in real time, you have to go to Twitter. That's the only place you're going to get it in real time.
Yep.
TikTok now has evolved a little bit to where a lot of videos can basically be taken and put out in real time as well. But it's harder for you to find those videos. They have to show up on your For You page pretty much. With Twitter, it's all searchable. Like if a player goes down with an injury and you want to know what happened, like I remember during the Georgia-Alabama game when Michi, was it Michi or Williams? Michi was already out. I think it was Williams. He went out for Alabama. I saw from the stands it was a non-contact injury. I was like, nobody even touched him. I immediately am on Twitter looking for the latest updates on that. And they're there, like immediately. I just wanted to confirm it was non-contact. And there the tweet was, non-contact injury. That's always a bad sign for any athlete when that occurs. So this is why people go to Twitter to get their news. And now everything is censored. I want to know, can you put in a chat, is Elon Musk better? Would Twitter be better under Elon Musk? Yes or no? Because you guys know I'm not I'm not an Elon Musk fan, but I would be a fan of him buying Twitter.
Yeah, I tend to think he would.
BlackRock's probably pissed. Why would BlackRock be pissed? They're the major owner.
They own both. They don't.
Yeah,
they're making.
They
money
own Elon Musk.
That's the problem. This is great for BlackRock and Vanguard if they plus up the price of Twitter because they own both. That's what we were actually talking about the other day.
How do people join my militia? I'm not sure yet. I haven't started it.
Ben and I were talking about in the office, I think yesterday, about the fact that it's the same shareholders that own the majority in both. They could actually have come to Elon with this plan like, hey, you've got a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines. Why don't you go ahead and put a little bit in this deal, make this play, make a big media thing, run the price up. It's good for Tesla, it's good for Twitter, and it's good for all of us because we all make money, you know, and you never know when they're playing those kind of games.
So moving on here, I talk about Twitter. We've had a lot of stories I feel like I could talk about all day today on the show. But speaking of Texas regulators, by the way, I had a lot of people asking about are we going to do anything while we're in Sacramento?
No.
We're not going to do anything in Sacramento.
I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like it.
I mean, I don't want to do a gigantic meetup because it's just us going.
Right.
So
we could tweet something like we're going to lunch somewhere, and if people show up, great.
Well, we won't be at a lunch. We would only be at a dinner or an evening.
Right. And it's
basically
the
only time that we'll have free time while we're there will be Thursday evening, I think, but that could change.
Yeah.
So we'll try to see what happens there.
It's tough to do an event every time we travel.
Yeah. So basically, I'm going to Sacramento to meet with the California House, the head of the California House, the majority, to talk about crypto regulation. So it'd be fun stuff. Excited about that. It's on April 28th. So I'll be in Sacramento 27th, 28th, 29th, and then coming back. So, but speaking of a place where I also spoke at the House, Texas regulators order virtual casino to stop selling NFTs. State Security Board considers the sale of 11,111 NFTs a high-tech fraudulent securities offering. A virtual Cyprus-registered casino, San Vegas Casino Club, faced an emergency cease and desist order from Texas and Alabama state securities regulators. The company is ordered to stop a fraudulent investment scheme tied to metaverses. This is super fascinating. Texas Security Board reported accusing the casino and the owners of illegally offering non-fungible tokens to fund the development of virtual casinos and metaverses. Allegedly, San Vegas offered 11,111 NFTs to raise funds for its metaverse casinos. So this is where we get into fractionalized NFTs. Okay, that is kind of what this is falling under. Why is this a fractionalized NFT? And Pluto Alliance, where we give our YouTube money to the holders, why is that not fractionalized? Because when you bought the NFT, you were not buying it under the guise that you would get returns on that investment based on a larger entity. Okay, that's what a fractionalized NFT is. And by the way, fractionalized NFTs are basically built into the code that the people will get those returns. That's why the SEC is very close to considering those to be securities. So with this, they're raising money through NFTs to fund something larger that will make money that you will get returns on. Okay, so let's say you raise money for an event through NFTs. That's fine because the holders of those NFTs are not gaining money from that event. Whereas opposed to this, they're earning based on how these casinos do. And that's why it gets so dangerous. By San Vegas's projections, owners of gambler NFTs could expect profits between $1,224 and $24,480 per NFT annually. And golden NFT holders would earn between $6,500 and $81,000 over 1 year. The listing price was 0.23 ETH, so it was only $744. So you can see here, if you bought the cheapest one at listing or the listing price, you're automatically getting a return based on these numbers. The respondents claimed their NFT offerings were not securities and thus did not fall under securities laws. I would actually argue that this is the exact definition of a security in a lot of ways. San Vegas is not registered to sell securities in Texas and Alabama, and hence it is not allowed to proceed with its NFT sales. But my thing is, like, is this only an American site?
No, it's probably not. There's just no real regulation, and now Texas is actually stepping up and saying we have codes in place now. We're not going to allow this within our state. Eventually, and they're probably trying to set the standard for the United States, hoping, like, starts with the state. Once they've got the policies in place, that can be set at a federal level and go from there.
Yeah. Just reading some chats. Okay. Kind of like WeWork. Did you watch the WeWork
I did.
documentary?
Yeah. I was telling you, I mentioned it.
Nick DeMonte mentioned it to me.
Yeah, he told me to watch it, and I did. I'm going
to watch it.
We talked about
this
it a little
week.
bit at the gym yesterday. You would like it. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I really want to watch it.
Basically, a guy, because somebody was saying That's what we were talking about in the basement over there. He was saying Elon Musk almost went bankrupt doing SpaceX. Now he has to shoot off a rocket every 2 weeks to deploy enough Starlink satellites to be profitable, and he's literally spending billions of dollars just to mess around. I'm like, yeah, I agree. That's all true, but it's also you kind of have to be somewhat amazed when somebody can convince people to give them billions of dollars just to mess around, which is basically what was happening at WeWork. They weren't doing anything new, weren't doing anything special. It was just a real estate play, and that's what a lot of people, when they look at it, like, guys, it's real estate. Like, they're buying buildings and subdividing the space. Why is this getting valued in the billions and billions of dollars? And basically, he was
how much money is Elon Musk really worth?
What do you mean?
That's what I want to know. Like, how much is he really worth? Because, you know, when you look at a lot of the rich people in the world, it's based on the price of their stock.
Right.
But if they sold their stock, the company would be worthless. So it's one of these situations where I watched a whole TikTok about this. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but it's like we're giving these people like these random, not random, but we're putting a value on their net worth based on an impossible scenario. Like, if he withdrew his stock, if he sold his stock, it would immediately plunge and he wouldn't be worth that much. So none of these people that are the richest people in the world, your Jeff Bezos, your Elon Musk, your Bill Gates, they're not actually worth that number. That's like the peak of their net worth. That's impossible. It's kind of like Schrodinger's cat a little bit. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't actually be worth that much and have that much money. You can't be liquid. You could never have that much liquid. And so are they really worth that much? It's just an interesting conversation to think about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what is he really worth if he pulled out of everything he was doing and retired tomorrow and sold all his stock? How much is he actually worth? Great question. Let's move on, because this is another super fascinating story here. And this is something that we've been telling you about for a long time is coming. BlackRock's newest investment paves the way for digital assets on Wall Street. Somebody said that's just like me. No, I could actually sell all of my crypto tomorrow and have the exact same amount of money. That's actually different. It's not close to the same thing. It wouldn't grow after that. It would be at a flat number, but I could do that tomorrow. So BlackRock's newest investment paves the way for digital assets on Wall Street. 5 years ago, BlackRock's chairman, Larry Fink, famously called Bitcoin an index of money laundering. And I would actually say this is the top story of the day. The Elon Musk story is pretty big too. But this, to me, is the biggest story of the day and what is actually going to have massive effects on the markets in the future. But in the years since, the world's largest asset manager, tending some $10 trillion in client funds, has largely stayed away from digital assets.
Or that's what they say publicly.
Exactly. So when Fink wrote in his annual letter to shareholders published in late March that the havoc caused by this, I'm trying not to say this on the channel and do some experimentation, so I'm not going to say that, but the caused by this could accelerate the adoption of digital currencies, many interpret it as a sign that the financial behemoth is finally warming up to crypto. Now, in addition to managing the primary cash reserves of USDC, a $50 billion digital asset available on blockchains, including Ethereum, Solana, Algorand, Stellar, Avalanche, and Flow.
That's a big statement.
And
they're the primary.
It took a lot of breath to say it even.
Yeah. They're the primary cash reserve behind USDC now. Yeah. BlackRock.
BlackRock has entered into a broader strategic partnership with Boston-based Circle, one of the primary issuers of USDC. This was announced yesterday alongside a $400 million funding round raised by Circle from BlackRock, Fidelity and Research, Marshall Wace, and Finn Capital. Circle is planning to make a public debut via a SPAC deal valued at $9 billion by the end of the year. Coinbase, what was it, $120 billion? Circle, $9 billion?
Yeah.
Wow. That's fascinating.
It is.
While BlackRock declined to comment on the particulars of the deal, according to the Q1 call, it's looking at more than just crypto and stablecoins towards asset tokenization and permission blockchains.
There it is.
We have told you guys forever. I've told you guys this since 2018. The stock market will run on blockchain one day. The stock market will run on blockchain. The $500 quadrillion, or some people, no, not 500 quadrillion. And it's either 500 trillion to 100 quadrillion or one quadrillion.
Yeah.
A quadrillion dollars worth of derivatives will all be moved to blockchain. That's why we talk about Ethereum having a much, much, much bigger ceiling than Bitcoin. This is the beginning of this.
Yep.
Asset tokenization, synthetic assets on blockchain based on stocks.
And this is why you see regulation against returns on stable coins. This is why you see regulation against asset tokenization, things like synthetics and things like, stuff what Binance was trying to do, getting stock things on their platform. Yeah. There's a reason they come and shut these things down with regulation, and then they come back and release their own because they want to make all the money.
Yep. Partnership also noteworthy because it's the first digital assets engagement that involves a balance sheet of BlackRock itself. Previously, it was having exposure through MicroStrategy. It's taken MicroStrategy, but now it is going to be putting $5 billion. No, that's not true. That's MicroStrategy. But now it's going to actually be backing crypto.
So this is what I was talking about when I said publicly. So that BlackRock, they're coming out making statements saying crypto's bad. We're not sure if this is going to destabilize the economy. It's not the future of finance. It's a bunch of criminals. Also, who's the largest holder of it? Okay, let's invest in that company, MicroStrategy. Let's invest in mining companies, infrastructure. Okay, perfect. Let's invest in the major stablecoin issuer so we can have complete insight into all the transactions. Perfect. Now, final step, once USDC is fully circulating, it's interchangeable, it's the primary stable coin on most layer 1 blockchains. Perfect. Let's make that interchangeable with CBDCs, and we've moved the whole system over.
Yep. Yeah. So like I said, I think this is the biggest story of the day in terms of blockchain. I mean, the Twitter story isn't necessarily about crypto. I'm sure there is some crypto integration involved if he does take it over. But, and of course, Twitter already does have some crypto integration. But this story, we're talking, the Twitter story, we're talking about $50 billion, okay, or whatever it is. This story, we're talking quadrillion dollars, okay? This is more massive than you guys could possibly understand until this starts becoming reality. And I do think that this is, we've called this for a long time. My original idea, that the USDC was going to become the digital dollar for sure. We've been talking about this since probably the middle of 2020. So for about 2 years, we've been telling you that we believe that USDC, this is based on all kinds of things, primarily going back to September of 2020 when Jerome Powell said that they would welcome the private sector, which is public companies. It was a little confusing. The private sector working on the digital dollar. It's already been worked on. The money's all out there. Now BlackRock is behind it. Now they're going to get to, continue their own little Ponzi scheme. So. Yeah.
When I saw that Circle, which was owned by Goldman Sachs, when I saw they were basically Goldman Sachs was the primary issuer of USDC, which was at the time not that major of a player in the stablecoin. It was all Tether. It was pretty much everything was on Tether, and USDC slowly started to make inroads. You had the Gemini dollar at the same time, and then all of a sudden it was just USDC taking over chain by chain by chain by chain, and now almost everybody uses USDC instead of Tether.
And that's what we tell you to use. Yep. Use USDC, don't use USDT. Speaking of USDT and USDC, they will now be able to run on the Cardano mainnet soon. Bitcoin and ETH to come later. That's good. Nothing like a delay. Wing Riders has announced its partnership with Milkamita and Flint Wallet and their implementation of the EVM on the sidechain protocol, which will run on WADA.
That's funny.
Where's my waiter? I would like some more caviar. The protocol is a sidechain project on Cardano. This is kind of how it works. You have the Cardano native tokens. Just so you understand, this is how big Ethereum is. We all understand, a lot of people understand Ethereum terms and what they mean. We can actually kind of use comparisons from the Ethereum glossary to explain the Cardano ecosystem. When you look here at Cardano's native tokens, right here, native tokens, these are the equivalent of ERC20s. So ERC20s are tokens built on Ethereum. Native tokens are tokens built on Cardano. Here you can see that they are not interoperable, but when you insert the ERC Milkamita project that works with an Ethereum virtual machine or the EVM, there is a bridge, and now we can bridge USDC through Milkamita or Milkamita. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to say that, back to Cardano. So I'm not going to get too much into explaining the ins and outs of how exactly that works because, number one, I couldn't do it. And number two, most of you don't care. But what you need to know is they're going to soon become interoperable. We're going to have wrap tokens on Cardano. We're talking about synthetic assets. That's basically what a wrap token is. It's a synthetic version of an asset, so it can be moved onto a different chain, represented 1-to-1. We have 82% of Cardano addresses are out of money or out of the money. So 82% now with this last dip are people underwater where they bought Cardano at. Where is Cardano at right now? Are we underwater? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
We were getting pretty close the other day.
I don't remember. Where was it, like
67 cents?
Yeah.
That's where we bought most of our 67 cents. It's at 93 cents, so we're okay. I thought it dipped. Where did it dip to the other day? It dipped pretty low, I thought. 90 cents 1 month. A month ago, it was down to 80 cents. Where's the low? Yeah, the low's 76 cents. So that was getting, pretty close. But anyway, so a lot of people are in the money or out of the money with Cardano. And it just shows you how many people bought Cardano.
Yeah. And a lot of people
think about that.
And it reminds, for some reason, maybe because they're big coins, they get a lot of hype towards the end. But XRP and Cardano, I feel like a lot of people tend to buy late. Like of a lot of the people in our chat right now, a lot of them probably, because it was at 3, 4, 5, 6 cents for a long time, in the bear market, and then it took getting all the way, pushing all-time highs again. I guess that's what gets people's attention as it pushes back up towards it, and then they buy around that price. But really, like what he was talking about at the top of the show, guys, paying attention in times like right now, or projects that maybe like you were a big Phantom or Solana fan when it was running up and it ran like crazy. Just sit back and wait. There will be opportunities for other layer ones.
Oh wow, we got a breaking story here.
Yeah, on XRP.
Breaking XRP story. We'll move on to XRP. We have one more Cardano story to cover. I'll just mention it. Percentage of ADA supply held by large holders rises to 2-year high. So there you go. Let's get on this story here. Ripple William Hinman. I'm sure John Deaton's leading this probably. Let's see. Let me actually get the exact title here. Ripple investors sue. Ripple. Oh, it's on protos.com. I'll just go there. All right, here we go. Ripple investors sue former SEC execs Hinman and Clayton over conflict of interest. This is coming from your ETH gate, which we've, more aptly dubbed SEC gate, we believe is a better term for this. Emails obtained in a Freedom of Information Act request suggest that former Securities and Exchange Commissioner Director William Hinman, I guess this is how John Deaton got those, is from one of those, an FOIA, had a conflict of interest when he proclaimed that during his tenure, Ethereum transactions were not securities. By the way, if you're in the XRP army, make sure to throw the X up. People are saying John Deaton had nothing to do with this. Okay, cool. Throw the X up if you're in the XRP army. We got gigantic stuff coming for you, I promise. I know I've been teasing this for a while. I don't know how much longer I can tease it, but we got some really big news today that I also can't share with you. But some pretty exciting stuff. We are going to do something like you are not going to believe. We are going to single-handedly bring the XRP community together. We're really excited about it. But anyways, here it says lawyers defending Ripple could use these emails to aid their defense. In response to the emails, past controversies and growing calls from the Ripple community, attorney Fred Rispoli filed a lawsuit against Hinman and former SEC chairman Jay Clayton on Wednesday on behalf of XRP investor Shannon O'Leary and all XRP Ledger users. During his chairman position, Clayton caused a controversially large spike in Bitcoin's price by declaring the crypto was not a security. Clayton's tenure at the SEC began in 2017, ended in 2020. SEC's lawsuit against Ripple was launched in this time. The SEC claims Ripple and 2 co-founders conducted an illegal offering of unregistered securities in December of 2020. The SEC accused Ripple of violating registration requirements. SEC is suing for billions in disgorgement, interest, and fees. As part of its legal defense, Ripple claimed the SEC failed to give proper notice of alleged securities violations. This is from Fred Rispoli yesterday. On April 11, 2022, a class action lawsuit was filed against masseurs. Who says masseurs? Are they not married? Is that why you would call them masseurs? Or is that the plural of misters?
Or maybe that's the all-encompassing.
Looks like it says missers.
Yeah.
against Messrs. Clayton and Hinman for tortious interference. I guess because that's a tortious interference in all XRPL networks user valid business expectancy in the XRPL network. The lead plaintiff and my client, Shannon O'Leary, decided to take a stand. But this thread is all about hope. Many of you still have no idea how important and how powerful you truly are. All it takes is 1, which becomes 2, then 4, then eventually victory. Now they want Joe Rogan and Elon Musk to join. And I want, can we be very clear about something? I want you guys to understand this, okay? 84% of people believe Twitter would be better under Elon Musk. That's a bold statement there. When it comes to the XRPL, it is decentralized. People will talk about the varying levels of centralization versus decentralization internally with Ripple Labs and the XRP token. But the XRP ledger is basically a layer 1 platform for all intents and purposes that you can do anything on. You can do Ethereum on Ethereum that is decentralized, that any person can build on. It's open and it's permissionless. So we need to be clear here. When people talk about centralization, and this is kind of like the low IQ of XRP haters, not that all XRP haters are low IQ, but the specific non-educated, unresearched XRP haters that say bad stuff about it based on memes. These are the kind of things that they can't grasp. That there can be some argument about some centralization issues with the company and the token, but when it comes to the ledger, there's not arguments of centralization there. And if you make that, you sound very low IQ and uneducated. So there were some people on Twitter on a thread I was on that were saying things like that, and you just look like an idiot because there's nothing worse than talking out about something you know nothing about. A government whistleblower and research nonprofit Empower Oversight issued the FOIA request as an ongoing investigation into Hinman and Clayton, who received nearly 200 pages of emails showing that Hinman may have violated rules. Can we get one of these requests and get all these documents? I don't know. I wonder how hard that would be. I'd love to just go through every one of them on the show. That would be fun. Here is where William Hinman is talking about he likes a steak medium rare. You know, Actually, he seems like a well done kind of guy. Am I right?
Yeah.
Always holding things up, you know. I don't know. Maybe he's a rare guy. He likes to be a little premature too sometimes. So we'll see what happens. However, according to the email, Hinman ignored the SEC committee's warnings. This was when he was told not to meet with Simpson and Thatcher. He met with them 3 times after the ethics committee told him not to meet with them. You know, this is, I want to retweet this. When was this out? This was about several weeks ago. I'll retweet this just so y'all know. Imagine going against your ethics committee 3 times and still having a job. J-O-B. Let's say J-O-B. There we go. Okay. That's old. It's from April 8th, but whatever. I digress. 5 days. We also have, so we'll follow that. But guys, also, XRPL proposes update to allow issued tokens to be used in payment channels besides XRP. So this is basically open up the idea that there can be layer 2s to XRP. So this is really big. You know, kind of like what the Lightning Network is, or kind of like what Polygon is. Let's see. Limitation is a deterrent to the widespread of escrow and payment channels for a variety of reasons, including compliance, reluctance to hold counterparty-free assets, exchange rate risk, and volatility. So we'll continue to look at that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do quick hits. I'll read these titles very quickly, and then we'll do Q&A. Ava Labs, $5.25 billion valuation. What is the Avalanche market cap, I wonder? 21 billion or 20.5 billion. Lunar Crush launches DeFi suite called LunarFi. Tether to reduce holdings of commercial debt and USDT returns. World's largest stablecoin, currently backed by a mixed bag of commercial debt holdings, cash, and cryptos, but it's yet to produce a full audit of its reserves. It just keeps saying, don't worry about it, we got it. Cosmos gains interchain accounts as Upgrade kicks in. Ex-SaveMoon marketing chief caught in $12 million pump and dump scheme. In news that shocks no one for $1,000, Alex. There we go, I'll take that one. Oh, Alex dead, I forgot. Rip out Trebek. Shouldn't they have just ended Jeopardy?
Probably.
They should have just ended it with Alex Trebek. You can't replace that man. So I guess they replaced Bob Barker, so I guess you can't replace anybody. Bank of Canada using quantum computing to simulate crypto adoption scenarios. Latin America Bitcoin adoption gathering pace. North Dakota hopes to double the $3 billion of clean crypto mining in the state, so that's pretty cool. And we were talking with some folks that are really bullish about crypto mining in Texas. They say they'll eventually join. They'll eventually beat the Georgia hash rate. We'll see what happens. That was potential.
We'll see.
Okay. Why are people all talking about Gala or Gala?
I don't know. I just started right when you looked over there. Nobody was until just now.
Gala price prediction. It'll be down and then eventually it'll be up a lot.
Yeah. All right. You ready for some Q&A?
Yep.
Okay. From Richard, as an American, what would be the best exchange to have the broadest range of coins available for U.S. citizens? KuCoin.
But
yeah.
I will tell you this. I did have a guy in my chat or in my DMs telling me that basically KuCoin has stolen a bunch of money from him, and that basically they admitted that there was a time where there was a hacker that accessed certain accounts and his money was taken during that time, and they're not helping him. So, you know, I've always said this about KuCoin. I trust them insofar as I keep some of my assets there and we buy some of these assets there, but KuCoin does not have like customer support that's going to help you. So keep that in mind when you do use KuCoin. It's best to get your money on there and off there pretty quickly. We hold a small percentage of our stuff over there, like tradable. You can buy XRP on KuCoin, so that's one advantage. There's a lot of coins that if you want to buy as an American, that's just where you have to go to get it. But I encourage you to move stuff off there. You remember, not your keys, not your crypto.
Next question from Crypto Muser. When are we going to have blockchain backer on again? We had a lot of people asking about that today.
Yeah, I have to check with Molly. And find out. We're trying to get people on regularly. He's definitely one that we want on regularly for sure. We love blockchain backer.
Yeah, and apparently he's still somewhat bullish on an alt, so that would be interesting to hear, you know, given the current climate. Barbarian, how significant is it that banks are starting to provide crypto service to customers, in your opinion?
Crypto services. I like that. I have to point out the typos. You know I do. I can't let them go. Look, I think it's lazy for people to use their banks for crypto. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to do it. It's convenience. But it doesn't surprise me at all. And I think it's just the bank's trying to come in and take advantage of, you know, our system that, you know, is a better system than, you know, the traditional banking world. So it's a good thing for adoption. It's a bad thing for the message of crypto. I guess that's the best way to say it.
I would say the same thing. It's good for prices, and for people that are already in, it's not good for the long term of humanity. Grant Gustavson asking all the time, is the bear market the best time to invest in nodes?
Sure.
Yeah.
Believe so.
You know, it's as good as time as any, as I would say.
Yeah.
You know,
and then Punini Vamper says, is your open rider position remote? Yes. Yeah. Our rider position is remote. We don't have a lot of remote positions. Most are in-house, but that is one. So if people are interested in that, you know, please send in to writing@bitboycrypto.com. Have we heard back from our car recipient?
I believe so. Yeah. I think he just was.
Yeah.
I think we have a response. We're just coordinating details and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's like
great.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Sunday, I'm going to try to do the $10,000 crypto video portfolio. That's what I'm going to try to aim for. That's all I got. I'm heading out. I will not be here tonight or tomorrow, but you know, we'll still have videos. We got a lot of great videos for coming over the weekend. Make sure to stay around. DZ's going to be hosting the show today. That's all I got. Be blessed. Way out.